Ready to dive into the epic world of the Straw Hat Pirates and their ultimate power-ups? These goofballs have leveled up in ways that would make even the Four Emperors do a double take. We're talking next-level transformations, ridiculous hockey flexes, and abilities so broken they make the Marine Admirals sweat. Straw Hats in their strongest forms? Alright, let's settle this once and for all. Who's the strongest Straw Hat? Is it the green-haired menace who could get lost in a straight hallway? The pervy chef who kicks harder than your Wi-Fi router after a storm? Or is it Rubber Boy himself, out here breaking physics like they owe him money? The Straw Hats aren't just some scrappy underdogs anymore. They're absolute monsters with overpowered transformations, reality-bending abilities, and enough hockey to make a Marine Admiral lose sleep. But let's be real, not all power-ups are created equal. Some of these forms are legendary, others are just mid, and a few feel like Oda was just having fun seeing how ridiculous he could get. Let's set sail through the craziest, strongest, and sometimes straight-up weirdest forms these pirates have hit so far. First up, Zoro, King of Hell, 3-sword style. Zoro has taken his swordsmanship to demonic levels with the King of Hell 3-sword style. He's out here pumping his swords full of hockey, slicing through opponents like they're made of paper. This man literally left a scar on Kaido. Yes, that Kaido. Meanwhile, Big Mom took one look at his attack and decided she didn't want that smoke. But let's not act like Zoro's some flawless warrior. Dude has zero sense of direction. He could walk into a straight hallway and still end up in another dimension. He's got that silent and deadly aura, but at the end of the day, he's just a really, really good swordsman. Zoro is like a walking anime fight scene, and when he unleashes his full strength, you know someone's getting folded. Second, we got Sanji, the kick-ass chef, literally. Sanji is the human embodiment of a highlight reel. This dude can break the sound barrier with his kicks, cook a 5-star meal, and still have time to simp over every woman in a 10-mile radius. But let's keep it real. While Sanji's insanely strong, he's playing support when it comes to the wildest Straw Hat power-ups. But don't get it twisted, Ifrit Jambe is no joke. Thanks to his genetic modifications, shout out to Judge, even though Sanji would rather not, he's unlocked blue flames hotter than your Wi-Fi router after a 5-hour anime binge. He's blitzing enemies, cooking them mid-air, and proving that he's more than just the Straw Hat's personal chef. Still, at the end of the day, Sanji's whole deal is kicking people really, really hard. Also, let's be honest, Sanji's power-up might be flashy, but he's still one Nami punch away from instant defeat. Next up, Jinbei, the wise fishman. Jinbei's the big bro of the crew, always keeping things cool while everyone else is out here acting reckless. Dude's been through wars, betrayals, and enough pirate drama to fill an entire anime season, yet he still keeps it zen as hell. His fishman karate, absolute wave-breaking, rib-cracking, ocean-wrecking madness. He literally slaps people with water, and somehow, it hurts. But let's be real, he's more of a tank than a showstopper. Sure, he's tossing around tidal wave punches, and if you mess with him, you're gonna be swimming with the fishes permanently, but when it comes to rewriting the laws of reality, Jinbei's just riding the current while Luffy's out here flipping the whole damn ocean upside down. He's wise, powerful, and built like a battleship, but at the end of the day, he's the wise old sensei while Luffy's the protagonist pulling off the wildest stunts. Next, Nico Robin, Demonio Fleur, aka your worst nightmare. Robin went from history nerd to walking horror movie villain, and honestly, it's terrifying. Her Demonio Fleur form is straight up nightmare fuel, sprouting a massive demon-looking clone of herself with enough arms to put a whole centipede to shame. And those bone-crushing hugs? Yeah, that ain't affection. That's the last thing her enemies feel before their spines turn into puzzle pieces. Seriously, who knew archaeology could be this lethal? 1 second, she's flipping through ancient texts, and the next, she's snapping necks like they're library overdue notices. You could have a whole army charging at her, and she'd still be out here breaking bones while correcting their historical inaccuracies. And the best part? She does all this without breaking a sweat. While everyone else is out here yelling mid-fight, Robin's just calmly wrecking people's entire skeletal structure, probably thinking about her next research project while doing it. But even with all that power, she's more of a calculated assassin than a flashy powerhouse. She destroys you before you even realize the fight started. Franky, General Franky, the walking war machine. Franky took the go big or go home philosophy way too seriously, and now he's out here piloting a damn Gundam. The General Franky is basically a walking battleship with lasers, missiles, and enough firepower to make a buster call look underwhelming. This thing ain't just a mech suit, it's a full-on declaration of war with legs. Dude's got rocket punches, beam cannons, and weapons popping out of places that shouldn't even have weapons. He's one cola away from being a full-on transformer, and honestly, we respect the commitment, but let's not lie, this thing eats fuel like a rich kid's sports car. Ask him about fuel efficiency, and he'll just flex his pecs and chug another bottle of cola like it's premium-grade diesel. But for all the explosions and metal mayhem, Franky's still got his limits. Sure, he's punching through walls and blasting enemies into next week, but when reality starts breaking, he's watching from the sidelines. Franky's big, loud, and flashy, but at the end of the day, he's an action movie. Just one episode. Usopp, Sniper King with the range of a satellite. Usopp went from "I'm totally brave, guys" to actually sniping dudes from distances that shouldn't even be possible. With observation hockey, this man's basically got wall hacks enabled, landing shots on enemies who don't even know they're in a fight yet. If you're in Usopp's range, you're already done, and the worst part, you won't even know where it came from. But let's not pretend he's out here standing his ground like a fearless warrior. Nah, Usopp's still got that flight before fight mentality, and nobody dodges danger faster than this guy. You can call it a tactical retreat, but let's be real, man's got an escape plan before the battle even starts. If survival was a superpower, he'd be the strongest in the crew. Still, when it really counts, Usopp locks in and delivers. Whether it's sniping Sugar into an existential crisis or hitting a shot so legendary that even people in the next arc felt it, his aim is straight up cracked. But let's be honest, overall, Usopp is just a really good FPS player in a game full of cheat codes. Nami, the weather witch with a pocket thunderstorm. Nami went from a navigator with a stick to a full-blown storm goddess, and we love to see it. With Zeus in her corner, her Klimatact ain't just a glorified weather report anymore, it's an actual weapon of mass destruction. She's summoning lightning like she's got Thor on speed dial, zapping enemies out of existence while they're still trying to figure out why the sky turned dark. And let's not forget, she's still a menace in other ways. You think the storm is scary? Wait till she comes for your wallet. This woman will rob you blind, charge you interest, and still make you thank her for the privilege. Pirates fear her lightning, but their bank accounts fear her even more. That said, is she the strongest Straw Hat? She's powerful, no doubt, but without Zeus, she's just a really good meteorologist. Nami's still gotta check the weather before throwing hands. Tony Chopper, Fluffy Hulk with a PhD, Chopper's monster point is straight up nightmare fuel. This adorable little reindeer pops a rumble ball and turns into a kaiju, ragdolling enemies like it's nothing. Imagine thinking you're about to fight a cute talking pet, and suddenly you're getting clotheslined by a furry skyscraper. And the crazy part? He's still a doctor in that form. Man's out here snapping your spine and diagnosing your scoliosis at the same time. You're getting bodied and treated in one appointment. Free healthcare, but at what cost? But as strong as Monster Point is, Chopper's still got a stamina bar, and it drains fast. Once it wears off, he's back to being a pint-sized plushie, which is not exactly peak intimidation. Plus, he still gets clowned on by people who call him a tanuki, even after all these years. In terms of pure strength, Chopper definitely ranks high. But let's be real. Others out here bending reality like a cartoon fever dream. And Chopper's still limited by stamina timers. Strong? Yes. The strongest? Nah. But at least he's got that universal healthcare plan. Brook? The undead rock star with ice-cold hands and no skin? Brook's Soul King form is proof that dying was just a minor inconvenience for him. Man kicked the bucket, came back, and turned his afterlife into a world tour. But don't let the goofy skeleton act fool you. This man's a walking horror movie when he gets serious. He's channeling the literal chill of the underworld, freezing enemies mid-attack while still dropping one-liners colder than his body temperature. One minute you think you're up against a musician, the next you're frozen solid while he plays your funeral song. And the swordplay? Fast, clean, and deadly, dudes slicing through enemies like a hot knife through butter. Or, in his case, a cold sword through dumb pirates. That being said, Brook's still a skeleton, no muscles, no organs, man is just vibes and calcium. Sure, he's a ghostly menace, but if you push him over, he might just rattle into a pile of bones. He's an MVP for support. Brook's still just a very cool, very dead swordsman. Nefeltari Vivi, the OG Straw Hat honorary member. Vivi might not officially be rolling with the crew anymore, but once a Straw Hat, always a Straw Hat. She may not be throwing hands like the others, but this girl's got guts. She stood up to literal warlords, fought for her kingdom, and didn't hesitate to risk everything for the people she loves. And let's not forget, she's got mad diplomatic skills. While the rest of the crew is punching first and asking questions never, Vivi is out here negotiating, strategizing, and holding down an entire nation. But is she the strongest? Yeah, no. She's a real one, but she ain't bodying Kaido anytime soon. The real strength she brings to the table is her heart, her courage, and the fact that she somehow kept up with Luffy's crew without any powers. That alone is worthy of respect. And we are Oh, you thought we were done? Nah, we saved the best for last, because how could you think we'd wrap this up without talking about the one guy who's carrying the entire dream of becoming Pirate King on his stretchy back? Let's be real, this is the one you've been waiting for, the MVP, the game changer, the most wanted rubber boy in the world. We made you sit through all those other power-ups, but trust me, we had to save the grand finale for this one. Monkey D. Luffy, Gear 5. Alright, picture this, a scrappy kid with a smile too big for his face, a dream so massive it's basically delusion, and a devil fruit that even the world government couldn't figure out. That's Luffy. From day one, this dude's been out here punching fate in the face, laughing in the middle of fights that would have anyone else crying, and pulling off power-ups like they're side quests. This man went from Gear 2nd, Turbo Mode activated, Speed Demon unlocked. Gear 3rd, inflating limbs like a party balloon, but somehow making it badass. Gear 4th, now he's just bouncing around like an over-caffeinated kangaroo on steroids. And now, Gear 5th? Oh boy, Oda just gave up and said, screw logic, let's get wacky. Gear 5 isn't just a power-up, it's Luffy straight up hacking reality. This man unlocked Toon Force IRL, turning battles into Looney Tunes slapstick while still being Yonko tier terrifying. He's inflating, stretching, bouncing, shapeshifting. This dude's basically a living fever dream. Enemies think they're fighting a pirate, but nah, they're in a Saturday morning cartoon, and Luffy's the main character. And the best part? He's still Luffy. Still laughing in the face of death, still pulling off dumb stunts mid-battle, still fighting not just to win, but to have the most fun doing it. With Gear 5, Luffy is literally rewriting the rules of combat, taking on the strongest beings in the world while making the world government break into a cold sweat. And you just know this is only the beginning. Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that Luffy will always find a way to level up. Some of y'all might still be thinking, but bro, isn't Luffy just a stretchy dude? Nah, that's where you got it twisted. See, the rubber boy life is only half the story, his real secret weapon? Haki. This is the hidden sauce that takes Luffy from pretty strong to who let this man break reality. Without Haki, he'd just be out here slapping dudes with stretchy punches. But with Haki, now he's bending fate itself, bullying top-tier fighters, and making the world government lose sleep. Let's break it down. Observation Haki, Luffy's built-in cheat code. Ever wish you could predict when someone's about to throw hands so you could dodge like a pro? Boom. Observation Haki. Luffy ain't just fighting, he's literally reading his opponent's next move before they even know what they're about to do. This man dodged Katakuri's attacks like he had Ultra Instinct unlocked, and that dude was out here seeing the freaking future. It's like Luffy equipped a Spidey sense mixed with Ultra HD battle awareness, and now even the fastest fighters struggle to land a hit. Dude's out here dodging bullets before they're even fired. Armament Haki, when Luffy decides to punch harder. Stretching and punching is cool, but what if you could turn your fists into straight-up weapons of destruction? That's Armament Haki. Luffy wraps his limbs in this invisible armor, and suddenly he's hitting like a truck. He's out here smacking Logia users like they forgot how their devil fruits work and breaking through defenses that should be impossible to crack. And with advanced Armament Haki, now he's not just punching people, he's punching through them. That's right, he doesn't even need to touch you to ruin your day. One punch, and your insides just start crying. Conqueror's Haki, the ultimate alpha energy. Now, this one's special. Conqueror's Haki isn't something you train, it's something you're born with. It's basically the anime equivalent of walking into a room and making half the people pass out just because your aura is too strong. And then, Oda went ahead and made it even more broken by letting Luffy coat his attacks in Conqueror's Haki. That's right, now every punch, kick, and headbutt hits with the force of a lightning-charged freight train. So yeah, Luffy's not just a stretchy dude anymore. He's got anime radar, armored fists, and king-level intimidation. Pair that with Gear 5 and his busted devil fruit, and you're looking at a dude who's rewriting the very rules of battle. Now don't get it twisted though, the Straw Hat crew is still legendary. Like, these guys aren't just sitting around looking pretty, but, you know, when the rubber hits the road, Luffy's the one who's gonna finish the fight. He's the one you don't want to mess with, and he's got the moves to prove it. Imagine going from Gear 2nd's jet-powered speed to Gear 5th, where he's literally warping reality like a cartoon character, and then you throw Haki into the mix, and suddenly, the man's invincible. Conqueror's Haki? Luffy just walks into the room and weaker dudes are dropping like flies. He doesn't even need to fight them. His presence alone knocks them out. And don't forget about his obsession with becoming Pirate King, that heart, that drive. It's so strong that it literally fuels him. Like, Luffy's more than just powerful, he's unstoppable. But back to Luffy, he's still the one who's gonna carry that torch all the way to the end, and when he gets to the top and finally snatches that Pirate King crown, the rest of the crew will be there with him, cheering him on. They know it, we know it, and the world better be ready for it. In the end, the Straw Hats in their peak forms are unstoppable. They're powerhouses who bring their A-game every single time they step up. Whether it's Luffy's Gear 5, Zoro's swords, or Sanji's kicks, they're all destined for greatness. They're riding shotgun on this legendary adventure. It's a wrap for the rest of the world. And that's the story of the Straw Hat crew, a team of dreamers, fighters, and future legends. So keep your eyes on the prize, because this crew, they're gonna shake the world, one island at a time. Catch you next time here on 7 Seas.